Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends watching in North America. And hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I am casing a card from a friend of mine named Mary Deatherage, who lives in Georgia, I believe. And I'm not doing exactly the same card that she did, but I'm doing pretty similar because it struck me as being very pretty. And I am using the Daisy Garden cling stamp, which is a large format stamp. We used to call them background stamps. And I guess technically this could still be used as a background. I've been using it more as a focal image because it's so pretty. So I have a plan today. I'm not making it up completely as I go along, which means that I have cut things to get started. So I'm going to start with stamping this image. I have a piece of soft succulent cardstock, and I am going to stamp this Daisy Garden image in soft succulent. I can see I've got some people who've joined me. I would love it if you would say hello so I know who is here. There we go. I'm not going to ink the whole thing up because I know I'm only going to get part of it anyway. But I am going to make sure wherever there's a chance it'll be on there is inked. And we'll stamp that right on there. And I am using my stamp apparatus because I just find the large block that holds these stamps to be a bit unwieldy. And this way I know exactly where I'm getting my image. And when it doesn't, I can come back in and try to get it. There we go. Look at that. Couldn't do that when it was on a block. Have to use the stamp apparatus for that. Okay. Just going to clean that off really fast. And set that aside. So, there is that image. I'll let it dry here for another second. I'm going to show you a couple of the other pieces I'm using. This one, I use the new Bark 3D embossing folder. And I am going to go ahead and glue that on while I wait for that to dry just a touch more. And I think one could use either side. Okay, so I've given this a chance to dry a little bit, and I'm going to bring in some watercolor pencils. And I don't use these very much anymore because I tend to reach for my Stampin' Blends, but there's really neat effect, it's really neat to do the watercolor pencils on the colored cardstock. And I've done this before, mostly in using crumb cake. But I thought this was really pretty. So bear with me as I spend some time coloring here. I don't have to do a lot of pressure. It goes pretty fast. It stays in the lines easily. I like that you can see. Bring this up a little bit. See if you can see it. You can see the lines in the image coming through the white. These have a nice soft feel to them, soft and smooth. So yellow in the center. This is Daffodil Delight. Go. So what's been up with you guys this week? Still no one saying hello, or am I just missing the comments? I don't think so. We're still waiting to hear what restrictions are going to be lifted, if any, later this week. We now have a little mini outbreak within a townhouse complex. It's 100 townhouses. There are now 5 or 6 cases there. And it seems to have transmitted through communal spaces there, is what they're saying. So I'm wondering if we're actually going to get any permission to have people in our homes this weekend. And you may recall this is the weekend I'm supposed to be having a class here. They let us have a few people. I can do multiple sessions. If they say no people, I'm doing it on Zoom with a kit. And I just need to know so I know which one to prep, because they're different projects. It'll all be good, but you know me and planning and uncertainty, right? Some of you may not know why they are different projects. And that is because it's Stampin' Up! Policy that we cannot send kits that have stamped images. So, unless it's something where I know everybody has a stamp set, my projects can't have stamped images. So what I do is I make projects that don't require stamped images, but do maybe require a sentiment, and then people can use whatever sentiments they have on hand. So I can give you guys a little sneak peek if you want in a little bit of what I mean by a project with no stamped images. Again, if you like coloring, this is fun. And it doesn't take a whole lot of the white to just make it softly show up as being colored. So we had adventures with Noah this weekend. This past weekend was a public holiday, long weekend here in Australia. Most of the states in Australia, not all of them, because, you know, that would be too conformist, right? But it was the Queen's birthday celebration on Monday. So it was a long weekend, and I had given Noah a bit of kangaroo tail dog treat Friday, and I thought he had chomped it all, chewed it all up before he devoured it. And apparently he swallowed some bony part, a little bit unchewed, and he wound up vomiting several times in the wee hours overnight Saturday into Saturday morning. Had his breakfast and threw that up. Had just a little bit of breakfast and threw that up, and then spent the rest of the day not complaining that he hadn't been fed his full breakfast. So we knew something was wrong. So after he threw up his breakfast, we called the vet. I got him in there early Saturday afternoon. And of course the vet they want us to take him to is not close by and didn't have x-ray capability. So I wound up back here at the animal hospital close to our house, where I just should have gone to begin with. And they kept him overnight and did x-rays, and yes, there was something bony in there. But fortunately, it wasn't actually obstructing. It was just making everything, it wasn't a full obstruction, it was just making everything slow down and be uncomfortable. So he stayed overnight there for fluids and observation, and they released him the next day. And he's been fine. Now he's unhappy. He's not getting his full breakfast and doing the whole chicken and rice thing. And yeah, he's about back to normal today. So we may be done with the chicken and rice. So you can see I'm adding old olive to the leaves and stems. I can't believe I don't have any comments. I'm just confused by this. I'm just going to reload my monitor here. Oh, see, there's 14 comments. There, I thought people were here. Yay! It's always more fun to be able to see people commenting. I don't know why that other page wasn't showing it to me. Nice to see everybody. Hello, Paula and Gladys and Roseanne and Maswari. And my mom, Renata. Yeah, Noah's fine now. So this friend that I'm casing from, Mary, I met her in Salt Lake City at a Stampin' Up! Convention years ago. We were, what was the deal? We were trying to remember if we were Bronze Elite and trying to get to Silver, or we were Silver trying to get to Silver Elite. That's probably it, because Silver Elite is where you get to go to leadership. So when everybody was off at the leadership dinner, a bunch of us got together and had dinner to talk about strategies to become Silver Elite. and Mary was really determined, and she has become quite successful. She's been on a couple of incentive trips, and she's really done a good job. So I'm pleased for her. She just went to Hawaii on the incentive trip. A little bit more here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside a little bit. Oh, nope, there's another leaf. So there are various ways that you can use these pencils. You can just straight old color like I did. You can apply some color and then use a blender pen or a water painter to spread it out. And do sort of a more painting effect, but I'm happy with that. Now, it's going to go on here, but it's going to layer on this piece. And this is where I'm differing a little bit from what Mary did. She did a double layer, but I'm going to do some tearing of this. And so you can see the paper has a couple different layers. I'm going to try to see what you can see. And depending on whether you're tearing up or down, you get a different effect. And I want that sort of really raggedy, layered effect. So I'm going to keep working, tearing up towards me here. See how that goes. I'm going to tear this edge a bit too. And the bottom edge too while I'm at it, why not? And again, I don't often do kind of rusticy bits, but I think that's going to be kind of nice. And then, believe it or not, I am going to cut this. Oh, Gladys, that's right. That's where I met you. I knew that. So this was what? So I'm deliberately not cutting this evenly. Really. Let's see how we go here. Probably don't really need to do this, but when I get something I really like, I often do this because it can be hard to recreate it exactly, and then I get unhappy. So I'm going to add some glue to these. So this is Glad Press and Seal plastic wrap that you may know has those sticky, it's got that sticky adhesive on one side that's kind of like Post-it note adhesive. This is going to give me, yeah, it didn't really. Oh, okay, you come off. Yep, that didn't work. I think I need a new piece of, I want you to be crooked. I want you to be kind of straight. I think I've reused that about as much as it'll be reused. So we'll just get rid of. You might notice I'm using a little more glue than I normally would, but that's because this is really textured. Okay. Now I'm going to set that aside for a moment. Bring in a little more of the soft succulent, and this is the Daisy Lane, and I've shown you before how that matches really nicely with that, but I'm going to use this one, right? No, I'm not going to use this one. Again, this is a departure from Mary's card. But I think I'm gonna like using this one. Stamp that on there. Oh my. Do a quick color of that one too. Roseanne, I'm glad you like the mystery stamping. I had a lot of fun with that too. And I think people who played along live liked it as well. I liked your card. Yellow in the center. And now some fussy cutting. And you remember the big trick about fussy cutting is to cut turning the paper and not the scissors. I'm concentrating here. How am I cutting? So tell me, what else is going on with you guys? Paul, you said restrictions were lifted there. I really wish that, I mean, it was all fun and games when we were sitting here being complacent while the rest of the world was burning. I mean, not to make light of what you guys went through, but it's frustrating now that it feels like the U.S. is opening up and Europe and whatever, and we're still stuck where we were a year ago, it feels like. But, you know, we still have very little COVID, whereas you guys are opening up and you're still having a fair number of cases, I think. But you're opening up and people are vaccinated, so I don't know. You know, we have 55 cases in Victoria today. Total active cases, which is really high for us, considering how little we had for months and months. But anyway, we just need to get people vaccinated. Okay, so there's that daisy. Going to go on there. And I'm going to stamp this sentiment on this. I've already die cut the piece. I don't usually die cut and then stamp, but we're going to try this here. This is how when I send kits to people, they have to do their sentiments, because nope. So I always send them extras. There we go. Let's see how that works out. And now I am going to make a double loop bow out of this linen thread. Mary and I used to refer to these as Billy Moen bows, because Billy Moen is a demonstrator who used to always do these, and Mary loved them, and she does them all the time now. But she's gone to just calling them double loop bows, and I'm not quite sure what happened with Billy, but she about sometime 2017, 2018, she just kind of disappeared, and her blog is gone, and so I'm hoping. Anyway, I don't think she's with us anymore, but I don't know details on that. Anyway, so you wrap 4 times around, 1, 2, 3, 4 around 2 fingers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 times around 4 fingers. And ribbon scissors here, snip, and then you slide it off, holding on to the bow. Sorry, I'm trying to see where everybody is. Well, my feed, let me refresh this because it's showing way behind. There we go. Okay, so I've got 4 loops from the 2 fingers, 4 loops from the 4 fingers. I'm going to bring it together and let it twist into a figure 8. And then I've got, these are called reverse tweezers. I'm just going to get that on there and hold it. Hold. Please. Rewind that again. And I'm going to cut an extra piece there. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it there. Bring it in. Let it twist. I think I can get it without holding it with the tweezers. So I don't usually use the tweezers. Really. There we go. I'll do it one more time just to be secure. Okay, so that's a double loop bow. I've got all different size loops. And that's why she went a little bit bigger on the just do that again. It's not muck about. I will be right back. I'm going to cut that out real fast. There we go. Yeah, I know why she did the bigger one. Let's try it here. Can't decide if I want to do a bigger one or just multiples of this one. Let's try that. I think I'd like that better. Which would be a lot of fussy cutting, but so be it. And I do really need to lubricate that ink pad, apparently. So, still watching for comments here. Yes, I could use the daisy punch, the smaller of the two. Well, the daisy punch doesn't match up with this image, if that's what you're asking, Roseanne. But if I used this one, then yes, what she did was she stamped and colored two of those and offset them to put there. But I really like how that one is the same style as the ones in the Daisy Garden stamp. So we're gonna get these colored up and cut out. can't remember, I probably already said this. I don't usually do this sort of rustic type stuff, but every once in a while it does call to me, so. Glenn and I did go out, if you saw on my Facebook. If you're not following me on my personal Facebook page, feel free. We went out Friday night for our anniversary. It was our 33rd anniversary. And we went to a Japanese restaurant that's, 10-15 minute walk from home. We just hadn't gotten there yet. It was really nice. It was the first night people could be back in restaurants to dine in, and they had no trouble meeting their allotment. We could only have up to 50 people, depending on the size of your restaurant, inside. It was not an evening to be eating outside because it was a little chilly. It being winter here, and yeah, we really enjoyed it. We would definitely go back. And because it's the long weekend, Melbourne is doing all kinds of initiatives to get people, well, they were hoping to get people into the city who normally wouldn't, but you can't travel from regional Victoria to Melbourne and vice versa at the moment. But they were having a dining promotion over the weekend where if you ate within the city of Melbourne, you could submit your receipt online and get 20% back. So, bonus. Yeah, that's going to be better. We were going to eat there anyway, and we were going to order what we wanted to order. But it was nice to get 20% back. No lie. And we got Nicole to come stay with Noah. So we didn't have to wrestle with him. He does a good job when we go out, but still it's nice to just not have to deal with it sometimes. Oh, and then the other big bonus was just before lockdown. Well, the day after lockdown started, in late May, Glenn and I were both scheduled to have massages. And so that got canceled. As soon as the press conference was over, we got an email saying, your appointment's been canceled. Which wasn't a surprise. I kind of expected that to happen. But we were scheduled for next, well, I guess Glenn was scheduled, we were scheduled for next week. And Glenn got in for a quick massage at the end of I guess on Friday. And then I got in yesterday for my full length massage. So about a week early, but still very welcome. Would not call our massage therapist relaxing. She is definitely a remedial myofascial massage specialist, and so she really, really works those sore, knotty spots. But that's definitely a hurt so good situation. Ah, yes. There we go. Okay, those are finished. Bring this back in. See how we're going here. You there. Now what she did was she had her bow and she had her daisy on top of it. figure that out here in just a minute. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. I'm going to want that right there. Again, I got a lot of layers and textures under there, so I'm just holding that in place for a moment.
Yeah. You're from the mathier side of the school, Sven. You're from the mathier side of the school.
Oh my goodness, figure it out. Does that just look like a hot mess now? There we go. You go there, you go there, there. Okay. Bring in a glue dot for my bow.
Well, actually, they'll get a letter. Well, actually, they'll get an H2A, okay? But, okay.
There. These, I think, get dimensionals.
That's fine. I want you to drop in your spreadsheet and figure that out.
And something like that.
Yeah, well, I imagine we're sending all of these getting your grades. I will be on the side, sending things.
Okay. Thank you for your patience with that. What do you think?
I had lower grades, but it's just, these are way off the math of the spreadsheet.
See if you can see the dimensionality of that. Have to put something in there to write on. There we go. Yeah. I don't know. Does it need a little sparkle? You always think it needs sparkle, right? Or because it's rustic. I'm just going to leave it as is because it's kind of rustic. Anyway, I'm pleased with that. I like... Yeah, I like the torn bit back there. I'm liking it. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining me today. What's happening? Oh, I said I would show you a couple examples of what I'm doing with my I'll show them all to you, why not? You guys are here. So this one, this uses all punched die cut pieces out of the Pierce Blooms dies and the stitched rectangles, and then they'll put whatever sentiment they have that they like there. And again, this one's using designer series paper and a die cut, and I will send them some of those layers and they can put whatever they want. Again, die cuts and embossing, and they'll put whatever sentiment. This one's got an embossed piece and designer series paper, and again, designer series paper and whatever sentiment they want. These are designer series paper that I cut out using my electronic cutter, my brother's scan and cut. So yeah, if they come here, they get to do some actual stamping and technique. This is just mostly assembly stuff. So it's not as fulfilling for any of us, but it's something to do if we can't get together in person. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. If you are in Australia, particularly if you're in the Melbourne area and you would like to do that kit class, if that's what we're doing, or come to my class in person, let me know ASAP so I can prep stuff for you. Otherwise, I will see you guys same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.